A very good afternoon to all. This is Padmalatha from Department of Commerce, who is going to explain to all of you assessment of individuals' tax liability. It's very important to understand why is it required to do assessment of individuals' tax liability, for which we need to apply the provisions of the Income Tax Act of 1961. But before we start assessment of individual, there are certain prerequisites to be considered. The first one being called as determination of residential status. That is, without determining residential status, it is very difficult to understand the incidence of tax liability of an individual. Then second consideration can be called as, we have heads of income. There are total 5 different heads of income for the purpose of tax calculation. We have to calculate taxable income under respective heads. Only then determination of total income can be done. And the last consideration can be called as, there are certain tax incentives allowed in the deductions of section 80 which are to be taken into account before we calculate the tax liability of an individual. There is a procedure given for calculation of tax liability, starting with the first one called as compute income under 5 different heads. So before we start with calculation of the gross total income, the first important point is that there are 5 different heads of income for which we need to calculate taxable income. First one being called as salary head of income. The basic feature of salary head of income is that there should be an employer-employee relationship so that we can compute what is the salary income. We have to apply provisions of section 15, 16 and 17 to calculate what is the taxable salary income. Then second is called as house property income. That is, the income which is derived by an SSE by letting out of the house property is taken into account under this particular head. So for house property head of income, we need to apply provisions of section 22 up to section 25 of the Income Tax Act of 1961. Then the third head of income is called as profits and gains of business or profession, where SSEs who are having business income or income from profession, people like chartered accountants, medical practitioners, advocates or lawyers, whatever income they are earning on account of carrying on their profession are taken into consideration. The fourth head of income being called as capital gains, that is, any gain arising on account of sale of capital assets is taken into account under the fourth head of income. And capital assets are broadly classified into 2 different categories called as short-term capital assets and say long-term capital assets. In general, a short-term capital asset is one which is held for a time period of equal to or less than 3 years, whereas a long-term asset is one which has been held for more than 3 years as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act. And we need to apply provisions of section 48 up to section 54 while computing the capital gain income. Then we come to the last category called as income from other sources. This head of income is also known as residuary head of income. The first 4 heads of income are called as specific heads of income, whereas the last head of income is called as your residuary head of income. So therefore, whenever we have to make the tax calculation, it is very, very important that first we need to compute what is taxable income under 5 different heads. Only then we can proceed further with the assessment of the individual. Then procedure 2, we start with apply the aggregation provisions. There are provisions of section 60 to 64, that is, when can we apply provisions of aggregation? Sometimes an SSE is not only liable for his incomes, his liability may extend to other persons' incomes also. By applying provisions of 60 to 64, we can do aggregation or clubbing of the income. Then the third is called as apply provisions of set off and carry forward of losses. Now what does actually set off meant by? In any relevant previous year, SSE might have all the 5 heads of income, out of which maybe some head of income is having loss and other heads of income are having income. The process of adjusting loss of one head from the income of the another can be called as applying provisions of set off. And then we move on to carry forward. What does carry forward of losses meant by? In any relevant previous year, if a loss remains unadjusted, we simply cannot ignore that. It can be carried forward to the future assessment years, for which a specific time limit is given. In general, we have 2 different time periods called as 8 years time period as well as 4 years time period. Usually 8 years time period for carry forward is applicable for house property loss, business loss, and in case of year, any other other loss from capital gains or any capital losses are there for which we apply the time period of 8 years, whereas in case of speculation loss and loss due to activity of owning and maintaining race horses, the time period is going to be only 4 years. So hence, whenever we calculate what is the total income, start first with calculate taxable income under 5 different heads, apply provisions of aggregation or clubbing, apply the provisions of set off and carry forward of losses. After applying step 1, 2 and 3, the total what we obtain is called as your gross total income. Short form of gross total income is GTI. GTI is the aggregate of all the taxable heads of income after applying provisions of aggregation and say set off and carry forward. Out of such GTI, we have to adjust the incomes having special rates of tax. Now, as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act, we have a scheme of taxation in India. In India, we do follow progressive rates of tax. That is, as and when the level of income is going to increase, the rates of tax are also going to increase. And for the purpose of tax rates, we have to divide the income into 4 different parts. Part 1 is called as any short-term capital gain income on sale of shares where security transaction tax is applicable. The rate of tax is going to be 15%. Then second, we move on to long-term capital gains. Any long-term capital gain income an assessee is going to will have 20% rate of tax. And a third income having special rate of tax can be called as incomes arising from lotteries, race winnings, TV game shows, crossword puzzles, etc. The rate of tax applicable is going to be 30%. On the balance of the total income only, the prescribed rates of tax we are going to apply. The prescribed rates of tax are given by the Finance Act. So currently for this assessment year of 2017-18, previous year being 16-17, the exemption limit in case of all individuals, male or female, who are below 60 years of age, the limit of exemption is up to 2.5 lakhs, which means up to 2.5 lakhs there is no tax liability. 2.5 to 5 is the first slab where the rate of tax is 10%. Second slab we have is 5 to 10 lakhs, rate of tax is 20, and whenever income is more than 10 lakhs, the rate of tax is going to be 30%. And in case of SSEs who have attained age of 60 years and above but below 80 years of age, for them the limit of exemption or the exemption limit can be called as up to rupees 3 lakhs, there is no tax liability. 3 to 5 lakhs, rate of tax is 10. Again 5 to 10, the rate of tax is 20, and anything more than 10 lakhs, the income is going to be, the rate of tax is 30. And the last category we have is called as super senior or very senior citizens, that is those individuals whether male or female who have attained age of 80 years or above. For them the exemption limit itself is going to be up to rupees 5 lakhs. Hence for them 10% slab is not applicable directly. 5 to 10 lakhs the rate of tax is 20, and whenever the income is more than 10 lakhs the rate of tax is to be 30%. So very important is whenever we have to calculate your total income, after calculating your GTI, we have to adjust incomes having special rates of tax before allowing deductions of section 80. Even though incomes having special rates of tax are part of gross total income, but these incomes are to be adjusted or deducted out of GTI so that deductions of 80 can be permitted to the particular individual. Then we move on to deductions of section 80, also called as your tax incentives given by the provisions of the Income Tax Act. We have section 80C up to 80U are the incentives what are available in respect of an individual. So 80C starts with approved savings, 80CCC pension fund, 80CCD, like that we move on. 80D, all sections of 80D deals with medical insurance premium or expenses incurred for medical treatment. All sections of 80G deal with some sort of donations being given. And 80U, if SSC himself is physically disabled, he can also claim some benefit under section 80U. So deductions of 80 are permitted out of the gross total income after adjusting incomes having special rates of tax. Only then tax liability calculation can be done. Then we move on to the last called as total income. Once we calculate the total income, we have to apply 3 different provisions on total income. First is called as calculate tax. Tax we divide into 2 categories, special rates of tax and prescribed rates of tax. Then we have to talk about rebate under section 87A. Rebate of 87A is applicable to all those individuals whose total income is below 10 lakhs. A rebate can be allowed up to a maximum of rupees 5,000. Then we move on to the calculation of education cess. We have primary education cess at a rate of 1% and SHS, that is secondary higher education cess, at a rate of 2%. Only then calculation of tax can be done. So when we talk about calculation of tax on the total income, every individual whose total income is exceeding the maximum exemption limit, they are liable to pay the amount of tax as per the whatever tax rates are given by the Finance Act. So when we talk with special rates of tax, there are three incomes having special rates of tax. First one being called as short-term capital gain income on sale of shares, where security transaction tax is applicable. For that, the rate of tax is going to be 15%. Other than short-term capital gain on sale of shares, all other short-term gain income will fall into the balance of total income on which prescribed rates of tax are going to be calculated. Then second category is called as long-term capital gain income. On any long-term capital gain income an SSE is going to have, it carries a 20% rate of tax other than long-term capital gain on sale of shares, which are exempted from tax as per section 10. And the third is called as all casual incomes, also known as windfall incomes, like lotteries, race winnings, TV game shows, crossword puzzles. For all of them, the rate of tax applicable is going to be 30%. So these three are the special rates of tax what are applicable, and on the balance of total income, prescribed rates of tax are applicable. For prescribed rates of tax, it is very important that we do consider the age of the SSE, whereas in case of your special rates of tax, age of SSE is not taken into consideration. That is, irrespective of the age of the SSE, the special rates of tax are going to be common. Whereas in case of your prescribed rates of tax on the balance of total income, we divide individuals into three different categories called as first category, all male and female who are below 60 years of age. Second category, all senior citizens who have attained age of 60 years or above in the relevant previous year but below 80 years of age. For all the SSEs who are 80 years and above, called as your super senior citizens, for them also whenever the income is more than the maximum exemption limit, they are liable to pay the amount of tax. So once we calculate tax on the income, tax on income means special rates of tax plus the prescribed rates of tax, both of them we are going to apply. Then we move on to, once we calculate the total tax including special rates of tax and the prescribed rates of tax, we have to allow rebate under section 87A as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act. So 87A rebate is applicable to all those individuals whose income is equal to or less than 5 lakhs. They can claim the benefit of 87A, and the rebate rule, the rule of rebate will be either the actual amount of tax whatever is payable or the limit of rupees 5,000, lowest of them can be called as the rebate under section 87A. So once we calculate the total tax minus rebate of section 87A, then we apply the provisions of calculation of education cess. Education cess we calculate at a rate of 1% called as primary education cess and 2% is called as secondary higher education cess. So together the rate of education cess is going to be 3%. And cess is always calculated on the tax amount, that is tax minus rebate of 87A, then we calculate the education cess. After this, whatever balance is called is, balance is known as your tax liability. Out of that, if any advance tax is paid or tax deducted at source is there, we have to deduct it, and the balance can be called as your either tax payable by the particular individual or refund of tax what an SSE is going to get from the income tax department. So whenever assessment of individual is going to be done, very important is that we have to follow a prescribed procedure. The procedure starts with calculation of heads of income, relevant provisions of Income Tax Act we apply provisions of clubbing, apply the provisions of set off and carry forward if any, then obtain the gross total income. Out of such gross total income, before we allow deductions of 80, we have to deduct incomes having special rates of tax. Out of that, the balance is called as the balance of GTI, out of which deductions of section 80 are going to be permitted, so that we arrive at what is the total taxable income. Out of on such total taxable income, we have to calculate tax at both special rates and prescribed rates, obtain the total of it, allow rebate if income is below 5 lakh rupees, and education cess calculation shall be done. On the final amount what we arrive, any advance tax is paid, or say any tax deducted at source is there, adjust that, and the difference can be called as either tax payable by an individual or say tax which is due to the particular individual. Thank you.